Thank you for joining us today, whether it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know we've got people from all over joining us today. Very happy to see you here. My name's Miranda, and I am the program director for Artly World Nonprofit. If you don't know us, Artly World is a 501c3 nonprofit based out of Austin, Texas. We've been providing arts and cultural programs and supporting local artists and musicians since 2013. In 2020, we began our Artist Relief Project, or as some of you know it, ARP. This was an initiative to provide online programs for artists and creatives and support them in their professional journey in the arts. And thanks to the support of donations from the greater community, we've been able to continue to offer these programs free of charge to artists in all disciplines across the nation and the globe. So we have people joining us from all over today. Starting this season, based on a lot of feedback we received from the artist community, we've shifted the focus of our artist resources and programs to address the impacts of AI technologies on artists' work and livelihood. Our objective is to empower you, the artists, musicians, performers, and creators, to better understand the challenges and opportunities that AI technologies pose. And in doing so, we hope to support you in leveraging these technologies for their creative as well as their economic potential. So we're going to be doing this through free online webinars, workshops, artist talks, and presentations. If you are using AI in creative ways and you'd like to be interested in being part of this initiative, maybe presenting to the ARP community, please get in touch with us. I'm going to drop a link to a form here in the chat. This is if anyone's interested in applying to present for this initiative. We'd love to have you send your info. And then also, I know this doesn't apply to everybody, but if you are in the Central Texas area, know that we are also doing in-person events in Austin. So meetups, artist talks, seminars, and public showcases of artist work. We'd love for you to be a part of the community. You can learn about our events by looking at the calendar on our website at www.artlyworld.org, and that's updated regularly. All right, so today, what's happening today? Today, we're here to enjoy an informative presentation about the ways generative AI technologies and AI art are challenging and transforming our understandings of things like copyright and ownership. Who owns AI generated content? What can we legally and ethically do with AI generated works? These are some of the questions we're going to be discussing today. And before I introduce our speaker, I do want to let you know that we are recording this presentation. The recording will be posted to our resources library on YouTube. If you're not already familiar with that or channel or subscribe to that channel, I would encourage you to do so, because it gives you notifications anytime we upload something. So I'm going to post the link to that YouTube channel as well. And we're not only posting these AI resources, but we're also posting our older webinars as well that we did prior to this season on things like grant writing and other talks that we had posted in the past. And then I also want to let you know that attendees will receive a link to the digital copy of the presentation slides after today's webinar. So keep an eye out on your email for that link. You can take notes and do what you need to do, but you realize you don't need to scribble feverishly because you will get a copy of that presentation. And then finally, the last thing I'm going to say is we will have time at the end for Q&A with our speaker. And I encourage you to take advantage of that, because our speaker is a lawyer and an expert. And when do you have time to ask questions to a lawyer and an expert in AI copyright, right? So this is a great opportunity. If you have a question arise at any point, post it in the chat or post it in the Q&A. And yeah, we'll address as many questions as we can at the end of today's presentation. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our speaker. Let me go ahead and pull him up on the screen so you can see both of us. We're very happy to have Alfredo Esposito, an international lawyer based in Naples, Italy, who specializes in copyright, digital rights, artificial intelligence, and criminal defense. In 2010, Alfredo founded Subcava Sonora, a music label promoting Creative Commons licenses in Europe. Alfredo has an extensive resume of experience serving as legal advisor and privately assisting many companies on international legal matters. In 2021, he established Defesa de Torre, a law firm offering specialized legal services on internet legal matters, including copyright infringement and cyber crimes. And he continues to share his expertise as a global thought leader by contributing articles on legal, digital, and artificial intelligence topics in various publications. So we are very happy to have him with us today to speak about AI and copyright, particularly the legal and ethical considerations for artists and creators. So welcome, Alfredo. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you and enjoy the presentation.
Thank you, Miranda. Thank you for having me, and thank you to everyone, to Artly World as well. I hope you can see and listen to me clearly. So thank you for having me. Today is going to be quite a nice day because we're going to dig a bit into the world of artificial intelligence creation and copyright. That's something that should interest any artist today. I'm gonna share the screen. I don't know if just give me a few feedback. I will avoid to have any issue on that. Okay, they should be able to see the screen. So yeah, just we can start. AI generated art and copyright, as Miranda was saying, legal and ethical consideration for artists and creator. So I'll try to don't be too much technical. I'll try to be practical in this webinar. Of course, we will have to talk about a few concepts related to copyright. So I will just start about the definition of copyright. And so what's copyright today? So historically, copyright plays a crucial role in fostering creativity by providing legal protection for original work of authorship. So that's something that you should know already, but something historical that was regarding all the artistic creation during basically the last couple of centuries. We can tell that encourages artists, writers, and creators to invest time, effort, and resources into providing innovative, and that's important, unique content. That's something that we will see further also. This happens by granting exclusive rights to creators. Copyright ensures that they have the ability to control and monetize their creation. So what happens if you create something, basically you have the right, starting from the principle, to do whatever you want. So to make money out of it, or to allow people to copy and distribute it. So that's just a generic rule. Just want to give you a bit of background. That's going to be really short introduction. But just to see that copyright is not just an American issue or an Italian or a European issue. We have to think that starting in 1886, so 100 almost 50 years ago, all the countries were already talking about copyright and about how we can ensure that artists and the writers, there was I don't think the photography yet, but also all the other creation form, how we can protect it. So the first big huge agreement was in 1986. So let's again 150 years ago. Why this introduction? Because of course, no one was thinking 150 years ago about artificial intelligence. So now we have to understand that most of the rules that we have now, they're not ready for the world that we're living. So just digging what copyright can protect. That's something that I think that's one of the most asked questions in general. Can I protect anything? No, you can't protect anything. You can protect, let's say, and I will just play a bit with you, books. And I will start showing the first artificial intelligence image created by Midjourney. You can protect music, you can protect photography, but of course you cannot protect many other things. Let's say just the ideas. So for being protected, any kind of creation should be impressed in a tangible object. So, it's enough if you just write down on a paper sketching something that's eligible already for copyright. Just a bit before on the other, on the previous slide, copyright exists automatically in an original work of authorship once it's fixed in a tangible medium. But the copyright owner can take steps to enhance the protection of copyright, the most important of which is registering the work at US Copyright Office. That's something I want you to fix because it's where our journey and our question about copyright and AI generated art starts. So I will starting, just showing a bit of images that have been created through an artificial intelligence software that's called Midjourney. And so you can start looking at these weird words as prompts and, public domain books, teal and gold palette. Here you can see a musician. Here you can see a photographer. All these images have been created by an artificial intelligence. And so we are start asking questions, where all these pictures come from? And of course, what are all the rights related to these images? Before digging into, I will just start again saying that we know that copyright, it stays forever, at least now until 70 years after the death of the author. So it's something, it's a really, really long time. But because there are some exceptions that can be made in copyrights, and these are related to artificial intelligence creation, I will just telling you a couple of exceptions. The first one you can see here is about the fair use. So the fair use is basically something similar to the thing that I'm doing now. I'm talking to you, so I'm using creative artistic creation and graphics and images, but I'm doing because that's an educational purpose. So that's something that I can do. So also if there is copyright on many images, I can do it because there is no profit behind. So basically all things that you usually read in books or images that you read in scholastic books, that can be done because of fair use. That's one thing. Yeah, that's a prompt that I was just trying to create. Lawyers from the future, AI law firm sin. This it's an images that's an image that has been created by Midjourney, and just to show that of course everything related to books and scholarship, that's free to use. That's something really typical regarding the American legislation. You can find an exactly like fair use in Europe, so that's something really interesting. Another exception, and if I'm going too fast or too slow, of course, please, I beg pardon for my accent. Another one really important is the Creative Commons license. I'll try to just stay a couple of minutes on this one for two reasons. The first one, if you read at the end of each slide, you can see this CC by NCSA 40. Then there is my name, and there is the dates, and then Artfully Word Nonprofit AI initiatives. So that doesn't mean that this whole presentation isn't copyrighted in a classic way. So because the authors, it's me in this case, is allowing certain uses of the slide. In this case, the license is called Creative Commons. And I really like it because it provides a really flexible way for creators to specify how other people can use their work. This license range from allowing unrestricted use to less more restrictive terms, allowing creators to balance sharing and protecting their contents. So in this case, you will see these letters like BY and CSA. So what does it mean? That doesn't mean that you have to basically say who is disclose who is the author of the slide in this case, and you can make money out of it. NC is stated for non-commercial. So basically, that's something that you will find a lot of time in artificial intelligence output. So that's why I want to analyze a bit more. And SA in this case is share alike. So if you want to take the slide and share it on internet, you will have to say that that's made by myself for Earthly World Nonprofit, and you can make money out of it. Otherwise, it stays exactly as any other copyright infringement. And why we're talking about this license now? Because that's something that you can find in plenty of tools, let's say as Wikipedia, or before Midjourney, when you had the chance to having an unpaid membership, all the images, they were released with Creative Commons license. So just one of the first questions, what I can do, with images that have been generated with Midjourney. Now there is not anymore the unpaid membership, but with all the images created before with unpaid membership on Midjourney, they were licensed under the Creative Commons license. So you were able basically to share it. The only thing they were asking to ND that stays for non-derivative works. So you were unable to manipulate and make it, create something else from an original Midjourney image. We will go, we will dig into later a bit more, but just to give you an idea. So semi tools as Midjourney uses Creative Commons license. Midjourney unpaid member were provided images under 44C by ND, meaning that they had to disclose that the image had been created and it was allowed to use for commercial purpose. That's, let's say, something that I've been meeting as well with unpaid Midjourney. That's a vaporwave illustration of Naples. That's my hometown, Vesuvio View. Dark blue and pink palettes, urban style, bright colors. I'm showing these images also to, give you a few hints about our next topic. You can see in the prompt vaporwave illustration. So I'm, just giving very, very specific details. Apart, from Vesuvio View, dark blue and pink palette, urban style. Then the last one that's more important for, I think, any creator that wants to feel free of using, all the arts that is in the world that is not under copyright. That's the public domain. So basically, the copyright stays usually until 70 years after the death of the author. So basically, you can tell that plenty of 18th, 17th, 19th centuries masterpiece, they are able to be used by you as well. But there is, some things that we have to be careful about, because you can use the original work, but you can't use a stylization or something that has been remade based on the original public domain work. That's something, that can clarify my thought. In this case, you can see an AI generated image that's cat with a pearl earring by Johannes Vermeer. And so we know that Johannes Vermeer has been, that's a public domain, the original picture with the girl, that's a public domain picture. But of course, this is a re-elaboration of a public domain picture. So on this particular image, this image is copyrighted, could be copyrighted because it's been made based on public domain image, but still has been re-elaborated. So the copyright is like it's freshened up again. It starts again because it has been considered as a new graphic, a new image. Of course, if something is not clear or you want to, do question on a slide, just please let me know. All right. So we just saw all the exception and the generic copyright, and we'll try to just don't stay too much on this. Let's go into artificial intelligence questions. So let's start. Okay, just sorry. Okay, so what's an AI image generated content? Text to image, that's something we know. AI generated text to image content is created using deep learning models with GNs, that's generative adversarial networks, being an example. I don't want to, of course, to be too technical of this. I don't honestly know perfectly how a deep language model works, but I'm trying, to give you just the legal output. But one question that we know that all these software, they are trained. They are trained on vast image datasets. So they can generate images based on text prompt. The training is made on datasets. So the first issue that we, of course, see regards the copyright of the images used to train. So basically, if I can create something from something else, and I'm training these models with images, what about the copyright, of the authors that whom images have been trained with? And in this case, we can see the prompts and prompts play a crucial role in guiding the AI model's image generation process. If we've been careful before, I used like Vaporwave, John Vermeer, Naples. So I was using some words that were basically giving me an output. I can, just show you a few examples of prompts that you can use to generate an AI image. Car, city, landscape, lion, mountain, train. And then we start see something a bit weird. Caravaggio, Pablo Picasso, Andy Warhol, Salvador Dali, Jackson Pollock, or Leonardo da Vinci, and Basquiat. So what we can start looking at all these names, and of course all the creation that these artists made over the years, and all the artificial intelligence software, they have been trained, of course, to give an output or something that looks like an Andy Warhol image. Of course, he has to know all the Andy Warhol images. So it basically all these model, they are fed by artists' images, and of course, copyright-wise, that's a huge issue. Of course, you can use as well other prompts. You want a picture, an headshot, a portrait, a macro shot, a close-up, an extreme close-up, panorama. Now you can do whatever. You can fill it up and generate in any way you want, of course. Also as well, kind of artistic output you want. You want a comic book or a cyberpunk or steampunk. That's one of my favorite. And as well, of course, again, who is training this software to give you something that really looks like a cyberpunk image? Or that's an example of an image I created on Midjourney, business meeting on Amalfi Coast, college illustration style. So you can see here, there are a few things that you can recognize. That's a business meeting because there is this bias. So of course, the business meeting is done by two guys in suit, suit up like really well dressed. I can tell like 50 years old, more or less. And of course, that's a collage illustration style. So you can see kind of small perspective, but it gives me straight away things. And that's something that, of course, the first time I was looking at it, I was really amused. But you can see that the business meeting, it gives you a bit of bias, again, white people, 50-ish, Richie, and Amalfi Coast, of course, you can see as well, looking around, gives you this kind of vintage idea of Italian lifestyle in 50. And let's go further. Let's look all the AI model. We've been talking about Midjourney because, of course, that's the most famous and everyone is using it. And as well as the model journey that's called DAL-E, that's the one provided by OpenAI. They basically combines features from multiple images using deep learning to generate high quality outputs. DAL-E is a model that has been developed by OpenAI, so that's the same company that's distributing ChatGPT. So that's why it's important we talk about it, because they're going to release another version now that's called DAL-E 3, that is going probably also to avoid this kind of weird effect on letters and hands. So it should be like the artificial intelligence generation 4.0, according, of course, to the creator. One software that I guess probably is the most interesting. I can't use it because that's really super pro. That's called Stable Diffusion. Stable Diffusion basically allows you to do whatever you want. Midjourney, you just put the prompt inside and please, create me Amalfi Coast landscape or anything. Stable Diffusion gives you a really detailed control on post-production. Let's say in photography, if you got a photography in a RAW mode, you can basically change everything. Oh, sorry, I think the video just went off for a second. Can you still listen to me?
We can still hear you, but your video
Okay,
is off.
okay, yes, sorry. It should be going back in a second. Okay, okay, sorry. Okay. So that's something I think Stable Diffusion is the probably the most important software in terms of what can be changed, and probably that's something that gives as well a lot of challenges in terms of authorship, because we will see this later. We are talking about copyright, we are talking about softwares as well, because we will have to address the main concern about AI artists. Who owns the copyright of the images that I am generating? And probably the answer could be different depending from the software you are using. Stable Diffusion is the one probably more entitled to gives you, that can give you a proper authorship on what you are creating. We will see this later on why. And then there is Adobe Firefly. I'm mentioning it because Adobe, of course, is probably the most important company in terms of pre-production and post-production. Now they are merging these incredible features in which you can create animation, create video animation, and basically also create comic books. So you can generate images, you can put it in a timeline on Adobe Express Video, and you can create a comic animation for kids in 10 minutes. So that's another thing, I think anyone that's interested in animation and comics, look into it. So Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, Adobe Firefly, there are plenty of other softwares like Dragon or DALL-E as well, but I think we should focus on this because they could be probably the most challenging in terms of authorship. So let's dig into our real trouble and about using this AI generation tool. App used. Midjourney. The first on left, we can see close-up of old couple sit on a beach, surrounded by palms, photography, blue, peaceful pastel lights. Well, first thing, who are these faces? Like, who are these people? Are they real? Are they not real? Are they from somewhere, or are they resembling something? So basically the data set is merging all the images that have been scraped from the web without license, most of them, and so they're giving you back what's the idea of a middle average old couple sit on a beach surrounded by palms. And as well here you can see that we have a privacy issue because probably this picture or something that is resembling this picture have been taken from somewhere. And another thing is regarding the bias, because of course again who is telling the system that an old couple it's tan white or with a white bird or with blonde hair? So that's something we don't know. So one thing that we have to always think about every time we use prompt in any AI generation tool, it's about the bias. So if we are detailed, we can have an outcome that is really similar to something that we've been imaging. Otherwise the software is just going to give you the most common thing that's related to these words. So privacy issues and bias, that's one thing that we have to be careful about the prompt. Then on the right side, I generated all these images, so that's why I'm using it. I didn't steal from anyone online. I just prefer to say that. This one, Saul Goodman, that's, I think it's one of the most famous character from Breaking Bad, and really famous character that played by Bob Odenkirk, wonderful actor. But of course, that's a trademark on Saul Goodman, and as well there is a trademark on Lego. So how it comes that Midjourney can give me something that is exactly a Saul Goodman Lego style? So another thing that we have to be careful when we address AI generative art, it's the trademark issues. But you know, I'm just using a prompt. Why am I responsible for this? Who is responsible for this? So, but let's, you know, be a bit technical about this. So these are many challenges that are posed by AI generated content. The first one, it's the lack of human creativity. That's not something that, you know, that's not my idea, but that's what the US Copyright Office now say. So all the AI generated content lacks the unique human touch and creativity found in the human created art. What I think this will likely evolve, but the main point is that the prevalence of human customization and authority, which is a challenging aspect, that's the only one to determine if something that be copyrighted or not. And of course, as we were looking before, all the AI generated content can easily replicate existing copyrighted works, leading to potential copyright infringement issues. If you are an artist and if you work as well with mockup, or you work with companies on social media, that's something, of course, you have to be really careful about, because as we were told looking before, you could use for a company something with Lego style, but still, you could be responsible, and we will see why in a couple of minutes. And of course, also the attribution and the ownership, all about the AI generated content, can be really complex and raise a lot of ethical dilemmas. So the legal framework in which are now that the copyright law doesn't really specifically address AI generated content, leading to a legal uncertainty. AI generated content raises question about authorship and ownership rights. Courts are starting to grapple with AI generated content cases, setting precedents for future legal decision. So just let's see, we are in 2022. No one is talking about AI generated contents. Everyone is sketching and doing on, looking on Photoshop and trying to do the job at, the maximum level. And then Midjourney 2022 start, providing the first version. The outcome and the output, they're really, really bad. They don't resemble anything real. So why we have to worry about it? Why we should address any copyright concern about this? Why we should, change law and regulation? Then, revolution happened, and all of a sudden in 2022, something really, really important happens. There is this artist, this AI artist, she's called Chris Kashtanova, and she created a book, just using Midjourney and just saying, okay, I would like to create a comic book, and I will call it Zaria of the Dawn. I'm producing it, I'm creating it, I'm prompting it. I have all the concept and the story and the idea, and I just print out the book, and I will, I want to see if the Copyright Office say that I'm the author, so I can have all the copyright rights related to my comic illustration. And what happens? In September 2022, Chris Kashtanova applied for copyright protection with the US Copyright Office. She doesn't tell that everything has been made by Midjourney or with Midjourney. So she says, okay, yeah, you can register it. Then all of a sudden, it happens in February 2023. That's probably one incredible period, because it was basically just a few months ago. The Copyright Office said, we can't, of course, we can't absolutely, grant any copyright protection, because that's not yours. That has been made by a machine. So how we can protect something that has been made and created by a machine? We can just grant protection for human created works. So of course, can you imagine all of a sudden say, yeah, but we are not ready. US Copyright Office, sorry, is not ready. What we will do? I'm gonna give you the question in 1 second. Keep going. That's the most important question. How can we protect this if, the Copyright Office cannot grant the copyright? Sorry about it, I'm just a bit coughing. Okay. Okay, says this is what the Copyright Office says. That's something I think probably the most important words related to the whole webinar. So the Copyright Office says, although the images themselves are not protected by copyright, the arrangement of the images and the text and the story of the book are, as they are, the creative work of Kashtanova and not the artificial intelligence. So what happens that the US Copyright Office does protect the book, doesn't protect the singular images that are in the book. So that's something that's really, that's probably the most innovative things that happened in the last few decades, because they create a concept of hybrid copyright. Probably no one heard about it before, or some legal nerd like me, we were talking about it, but that's something that now all of a sudden that's official. So all time you're okay, how can I protect my work now in US? Basically, you can't protect the singular outcome of prompt of a generation software, but you can protect the concept of what you are creating. So if you are creating a comic book, like in this case, you can protect the concept, the story, but not the singular images. Before I told you about the difference between Midjourney, let's say, and Stable Diffusion. The huge, big difference is about the authorship. So that's something that's really big, because you can print this out and having as a star or a star if you want to, if you don't know what to do. Copyright requires a certain level of authorship, which can be challenging when it comes to AI generated content. This challenge can lead to disputes and signifies a changing paradigm with uncertain outcomes, potentially resulting in a significant transformation in the field of copyright and intellectual property. So that's depending, you own the copyright if the amount of authorship is enough. So that's something that, of course, it's completely against the certainty of law, because you can start registering something that has been, created after mixing of prompts and manipulation and mixing of color technique and adding Photoshop and whatever, and still not being certain about a certain level of authorship. And when this happens, of course, that's never a good something good, because the US Copyright Office could register or not register your work. And so that's really a dilemma. With software like Stable Diffusion, the amount of authorship and the amount of prompt and change and manipulation you can use, it's a bit more. So it's possible that that could be considered more, a higher level of authorship rather than Midjourney. But that's something that, of course, is not disclosed already. It's still ongoing. We are talking about something that is happening during these days. So we will see as well how the court, the federal court, answer about that. So let's forget about copyright for a second, and let's look at terms of service. So copyright is just telling you, I own this thing, no one else can use it without my permission. It's really important, yes, it is, but most important are the terms of service of the software that we are using. The first of all, just go into all these little terms of service and condition, because they can tell you if what you are using, you can sell it, you can manipulate it, you can change it, you can use it for commercial purpose or not. Because probably user-wise, you will have much more troubles if you don't read the terms and service condition much more than if you're using a mid-journey or stable diffusion image that someone else generated. Why? Because some software like Midjourney, you're paying a subscription. You can use it for commercial use. So someone else can use it as well, because you are not granted copyright on that image. But of course, if you're using it first, probably no one else would like to use it. Other software, as Ideogram, instead just permit personal use. Be careful about it. Why? Because if you go on this kind of website, they will say, yeah, why paying a subscription on this software, this other software, when you can have my image for free? Yes, you can have it for free, but you can have it for free just for personal use. If you are creating a logo and you are selling it, or if you are using it for any commercial purpose and terms of service are not granting you the commercial use, of course, you can be liable from the company. You can be liable, by your clients or by anyone else that has been using, because you are granting them something that you don't have. In this case, the commercial license for using it. Yeah, in the slide, I'm just gonna go quickly. There are the terms of service. So basically, if you use Midjourney, and you are not a paid member, you don't own the asset you create. We were telling before. Instead, if you have a subscription, they can just assign you a license. So you don't own what you are generating. Midjourney is giving you a license. The license does mean that you can use, and you can say non-exclusive. So does mean that Midjourney can use it as well. That's no charge sub-licensable. So it doesn't mean that can be sub-licensed with no charge by Midjourney. Royalty-free, irrevocable copyright license to reproduce prepared derivative works of public display, perform, sub-license. So all these technical words, that mean basically that you don't own it. You have a license. And because you have a license, in this case, it's perpetual. That means that basically you can use it without any time condition right now, of course. But that's not yours. So first things, you don't own the copyright, and you don't own. So that's not your property. That's not your exclusive property. So that's another hybrid thing that we will have to live with. So if it's not clear, of course, we will can talk about further in Q&A time. But that's something, of course, really, really, really important. As artists and as artists that use generate images to work as well, to express yourself, that's something you have to keep in mind. Ideogram, let's say, other thing. Ideogram say, we hereby permit you to use the service for your personal non-commercial use only, provided that you comply with these terms in connection with all such use. Yeah, just I highlighted here. We grant you personal, non-sub-licensable, not assignable, non-transferable, and irrevocable, and non-exclusive right to use the images. So it does mean that you can use it for yourself, to train yourself, to have idea on, for doing something else, but you can do anything with it. I'm honestly watching so many videos of people saying, I just found this free software, just use it and I will sell all the, the outcome to clients. You can do this. And maybe you won't do this, but you could be liable. So honestly, my suggestion, always read terms of services of any software that you're using. If it's artificial intelligence model, few lines, they can make you liable or not. We've been talking before about Zaria from the Dawn and the Copyright Office that didn't want you to register her works. Of course, there has been some artists like you say, you know, why you don't want to register my job? You know, I will file a complaint, and I will see if I'm right or not. That would happen to Stephen Tyler, an artist that basically say, you know, I would love to have my artificial intelligence generated art copyrighted. So basically, a complaint has been issued against Shira Permuter, that's the register of copyrights. And this is the outcome. I've been just highlighting for you. So basically, the memorandum of opinion said that the Copyright Office denied the application on the grounds that the work lacked human authorship. So what I was telling you is trying to tell you before, and in the end, the federal judge of the District of Columbia say the conclusion for the foregoing reasons, and you know, basically that all things that we've been talking right now, defendants are correct that Copyright Office acted properly in denying copyright registration for the work created absent any human involvement. So as a lawyer, that's really, really interesting because it says me two things. The first one, that, you know, it's clear they've been denying registration. But here it says absent any human involvement. So as well, the amount of authorship could, you know, change the facts. So there's going to be some parameters probably a bit more certain, in which if there is probably a big amount, that's something that we can calculate, unfortunately, of human involvement, is it possible that the copyright could be granted? As well, we were looking before, also authors like John Grisham, Jodi Picoult, George R.R. Martin, that's the author of the book, you know, from Game of Thrones, has been recorded by, they as well have taken legal action against OpenAI. That's something that is related to ChatGPT, so we will probably go a bit into in the Q&A time. And as well, websites like Stable Diffusion Litigation are gathering complaints and filing lawsuits arguing that these tools violates artists' rights and underscoring the importance of fairness and ethical consideration in AI for all. So something, you know, is moving quite quickly. This is a slide. We will just jump it out. I will leave it as a surprise for you when you're gonna receive a copy. If you're gonna click on it, you will see a bit of intersection between Midjourney and Runway. That's a video editor based on artificial intelligence. So you will be able to see, you know, what happened when two artificial intelligence work together. And so the challenges just going are the one that we were looking before: unauthorized replication, plagiarism, and also you know, the opportunities of providing creators and business with new tools and techniques. And always, I think that is necessary to find a balance between leveraging AI technology and the human creative process. So the challenge is, we've been talking before, AI generated images can be indistinguishable from real photos. That's the ethical part of this webinar. So one of the most important things is the risk of creating highly convincing fake news stories or manipulating existing ones. These misleading visuals have the potential to support false claim or depict events differently from reality, ultimately contributing to misinformation. That's something that is related to your ethical and our ethical responsibility. Creators and users of AI-generated images have an ethical responsibility to ensure that they're not contributing to the spread of falseful or harmful information. And as well, you have to be aware as well about the privacy concerns that are arising as AI technologies delve deeper into personal data. What about fake, you know, deep fake, something that, of course, you know, this is probably the most common and, you know, pictures that we've been looking in the last few months. That's basically the Pope Francis with Balenciaga clothes. And, you know, my uncle, she doesn't know AI, but she told me that the Pope was looking really good in these new clothes. So she was unable to see that, you know, it wasn't the Pope. And I can imagine, we are just looking at the Pope in clothes, but, you know, you can see images of politicians arrested, or someone shaking hands, or, you know, basically your whole world could be different from the one you are looking. So that's why it's important that you approach this tool with ethical responsibility. Yeah, as well, now artists are advocating for transparency in AI training datasets. American actors, I think, just in the last few hours, probably they ended a strike that they've been having for months, demanding limitation and clear rules regarding the use of AI. That's for movies, for screenplayers, and I think I've been reading just a few minutes before this webinar that they're probably ending it. So I'm really curious about the outcome, but that gives you the idea on how fresh and how we are on this. That's the time of talking. And tomorrow, this webinar probably it will be old, and we will have to do another one. Neuronically say, I want to copyright my face. That's something that's not really easy to do, because she doesn't want her face to be trained for data set of model AI. In Europe, it happened something really similar. We had the EGARIR, the European Guild for Artificial Intelligence Regulation. Over 8,000 individuals and organizations have signed the manifesto demonstrating widespread concern and support for this principle. So basically, creatives, publishers, artists say they were asking and demanding for certain rules. And that's something that in a certain way happened because in the AI Act, the first European regulation on AI, few rules have been introduced. They will have to, of course, go and be approved by all the nations of the European Union. But as a principle, it's really important. They are saying, you know, you will have to disclose when there is an AI generated content. And of course, you have to tell me where are you taking all these images that you are using to train and, you know, your language model. So, you know, that's probably a good way of expressing your preoccupation about everything that's happening related to AI training, and as well having an impact on the regulation. That's something I think it's really, really important. Usually, European Union is probably is a country of over-regulation on these things, but you know, privacy-wise and as well on copyright-wise, that could be really important and a really, really good way to protect, of course, all the users, but also to protect all the artists that have been probably in this day defrauded of all their images. And you can see here just a few pics on prompts in which you can clearly see, you know, the origin of the image. That's agreement between a musician and their manager, Jeremyville style, or Vesuvian Napoli, Bauhaus painting. Here, Rick and Morty as lawyers. So, of course, I can understand that, you know, the creators of Rick and Morty can say, you know, I think that something has been taken to train your data set. And there is another of the trademark issue. That's not related to you, but can you imagine if you use something like this for promote your commercial event? Of course, you can be liable. It doesn't matter that Midjourney in this case is giving you that authorization. You can be liable anyway, or that, you know, just to get a bit less bored about me talking all this time, I just uploaded my selfie, self of mine, and I asked to make it in a Pixar style. I don't know if this could be a new Pixar character, a new Pixar cartoon, but of course, if it gives me my my face, of course, that's an old photo, but, you know, with eyes that are resembling a Pixar character. And so all of these, of course, are trademark and copyright issue. So the conclusion, they're not really the conclusion, because that's something that is ongoing. So that's, you know, a few things we can subline here. AI generated content present new challenges and opportunities in the realm of copyright, requiring careful balance between innovation and protection. Recent lawsuits and disputes highlight the need for a legal framework that addresses the unique aspects of AI-generated art and ensures fair attribution and ownership. First of all, disclosing, you know, that anything that has been made via AI generation tool, and disclosing as well all this data set and training was being done. And of course, as AI continues to evolve, artists using it must be aware of both benefits and the risks of this new technology. Always, I say, embrace the knowledge without fear. I don't like people saying, you know, artificial intelligence is going to replace our job, or no, artificial intelligence is not going to replace our job. Our job, mine as a lawyer, yours as artists or lawyers, if you are online as well, to, you know, follow this panel from a legal side, we will have basically to use it and understanding, studying, and basically trying to do it with a bit of real knowledge and consciousness. So in this case, I will try to provide you a few checklists, you know, what you can do for using AI tools in my idea properly. Yeah, just a few words about myself. I am Alfredo Esposito. Miranda was brilliantly saying before, I'm an international lawyer based in Naples. And I'm specializing in copyright, digital rights, artificial intelligence, and international assistance. I know that this guy on the right doesn't look like me. That's a picture of me. I think it's 12 years ago. You know, I'm a Creative Commons licensed fan, and I organized the first Creative Commons festival in Italy. I was working in, I used to work in music field as a label manager, and so we had the chance to see all, you know, the copyright changes over the years. You can see the video. It's in Italian, unfortunately, and not subtitles. But that's been the first event in which we're trying to make art in with a different way, with a different legal framework related to copyright. Of course, in 12 years, a lot of things are changing now. Music-wise, you know, you have the people that are cloning the voice, and that's completely another world. But this is, you know, just to give you a bit of background. And then in 2021, I established Difesa d'autore. That's a law firm offering international specialized legal services. But apart from the service, I'm really happy to have the chance to talk about, you know, what's going on in our society right now. Yeah, if you want, we can connect. That's my website, alfredosposito.eu. My LinkedIn is Alfredo Esposito. Of course, I want, you know, I don't know how many people are connected right now, but if you are connected, don't be shy, you know, just stay in touch, because I really like to have your feedback in general. And if you have questions also, apart from our Q&A time, I will be happy to address it. So thank you for your time. But before saying goodbye, I will leave you with my last slide. That's a survival artist tool checklist. Miranda, I don't think you were aware about it. This has been one last minute add-in, because I thought, you know, it's really important. If you want to use AI tools, you can basically read the term of service, disclose it, clearly state that you utilize AI tools in creation of your content, avoid misleading use, check the copyright status, and attribute when necessary. All the images have been attributing, you know, as well, where they're from. Someone else created it. So it's, you know, just being honest also with your fellow artist colleague. Consider privacy as well. Honestly, I don't like when people are using underage pictures as well, you know, on Lensa or all the other application you can download on iPhone or Android, because you are providing them your facial details. And you know, I can do with my pictures if I don't, you know, I'm okay with it, but don't do this with your son, children, or, you know, anyone that's underage, because every time that you upload something on AI tool, you are authorizing them to use it for training data sets. So just be really, really careful. And of course, stay informed, keep up to date with developments in art and any changes in legal regulation. And most important, keep following the AI initiatives handled by Art Reward. They are doing a great job in Texas, Austin. So I'm really, really happy. And thank you for the invitation. I'm here now available for you, Q&A. I beg again pardon, if I'm being too fast or for my accent. I'm really excited for being here. And now I'm just yours for all the questions you can have.
Thank you so much, Alfredo. Actually, if you want to leave that slide up, that's a very important slide. I'm glad you put that checklist together, just to let people kind of look through, and maybe they'll have some questions come out of this. The Q&A is a little bit silent, so if you have questions, like now's your chance we have a lawyer on hand. I encourage you to use this. But while you're thinking of your questions, I do think there's maybe some big takeaways we could kind of condense down, because we're over a lot of stuff. First of all, I think it's really important to emphasize that whatever we're talking about is relevant today, right now. I think we need to reiterate that, because these laws and legal stances are changing. As Alfredo said, he's watching a case, it's changing like as we're sitting here, what's happening over there in Hollywood. So it's current as of September 26th, 2023. And when we watch the recording, it might already be outdated because it's moving so quickly. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. But some larger takeaways, I would like to talk a little bit about, let's talk back about copyright. And then we can go into terms and conditions and usage on AI tools. But as of right now, if someone uses an AI tool to create something, the Copyright Office is saying it does not have human involvement, so therefore we can't grant it copyright. Is that kind of where you're at? Is that what? That's correct, right?
That's correct, yes.
All right. And your insight as a lawyer is saying that this may change, like at some point. I mean, if anyone's used these tools, it's not just type in some words and something comes out. Nobody ever stops there. No one who calls himself an artist. There is actually some manipulation. You have to try over and over again with different prompts. So an argument could be made that there is some human involvement because you do have to play with the tools. So are you saying that maybe this will change in the future? Like there's possibility that AI generated works might be able to claim copyright?
Yes, I guess so. I hope so, honestly, because we are looking at AI, in a big picture, but there are plenty of differences. If I just type down Saul Goodman Lego style, of course, there is not so much human creativity behind it. But if I take a picture and I use it in stable diffusion, and then I got, an outcome that has been manipulated mostly by me, of course, yeah, there is an involvement. So I think that the copyright there should be granted. The thing is, everyone who is going to be honest in saying, I did this just by myself, or yeah, that was an original picture, the one I've been manipulating. So I think now there is a bit of conservative position because to avoid probably an explosion of registration at US Copyright Office. So that's something that I think will change. And from another side, I think, and I guess that the copyright, as we know right now, and that's one of the reasons why I've been promoting Creative Commons license for a lot of time, is going to change because yeah, it's really important, what the copyright is if something has been created as well through an artificial intelligence tool. I'm happy with the hybrid copyright. and I will be happy when the copyright will be granted on the on works that could be truly made by human artists.
Yes.
Of course, with the AI tool. Yeah, that.
Yes. And thank you for sharing those insights. And then just kind of moving along the presentation, we do have a couple of questions and we will get to those. So you mentioned hybrid copyright. And again, I think we should reiterate sort of the revolutionary nature of that concept, because you're saying like it's half and half. The images themselves aren't copyrightable, but the context and the concept of which they are being used in the comic book is. So can you speak a little bit about that more? Like maybe how people can be using this content in ways that they still do maintain some sort of copyright? I know that the comic book is a good example, or do you have any other examples?
Yeah, basically everything. Like if you are, let's say, not writing a comic book, but just a book or an animation movie or anything. Basically, if there is behind something that has been made by you, just make you something, that could be. I don't know if the concept of the book has been created by Miss Kashtanova or by ChatGPT, let's say. So that's something as well that I don't know. So we have to give for granted that that has been created by her. But now the Copyright Office just say, okay, I think something is not really good image-wise. But is it possible? And we don't know, and probably that's something we will never know. That has been copyrighted, something that as well was created, through another AI tool. So that's what gives the uncertainty. But we can tell that probably with things that are easily could be easily recognized, made by an AI, like images that could be a bit more difficult. For something like story or topic or probably screenplay wise or music, that could be a bit harder. Music wise, we have already have electronic music been going on for ages. How can you differentiate it from an AI wave? That's something that's going to be really hard. So I think that the trouble could be harder in terms of images, much more than with text or music. So yeah, the idea is that you can as well protect the idea of the concept of what you are creating, but usually if the outputs, are easily recognizable as made by an AI, the Copyright Office probably will not grant for registration.
All right. Thank you for that. We do have a question about, because you mentioned like writing. So what is the legal status of like PR copy written by AI? So we're talking like blog entries, social media posts, etc. So if a small business wants to use ChatGPT or something to create content, is that okay?
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. Like two things, of course. Now you will see probably the most important newspaper on blogs, let's say Stern in Germany. They are now starting saying edited by, not written by. Now you will see edited by Alfredo Esposito, not written by Alfredo Esposito. So it does mean that mostly they've been created by ChatGPT, Bard, Claude, or any AI tool. And they are saying, so they are not saying that has been written by them, but just edited by them. So yes, you can use it. Of course, if you just use it straight away, without giving your human touch or without, training the chat to talk like you, that's something I think right now it could sound really weird. It will sound a bit fake. And so I simply don't recommend to use just AI tool for your in general for your media marketing, social media posts, and for your content in general. But you can start using it, and you can, let's say, work with Midjourney. But blog-wise, probably it's better if you start using and add a bit of your touch. That's my personal opinion. Legally wise, yes, you can do it absolutely.
All right, so suggestion is to kind of edit it a bit and add the human touch and use it as a starting point. All right.
That's alleged, but yes.
All right. Someone else is asking, I don't know if you know about this, but do you know about translated texts?
Yeah.
I don't know the current status of and the level of being able to use these AI translator tools, but if someone wanted to do that and they just want to copy paste the translation, is that okay? Are there risks in terms of it being flagged as plagiarism or something like that?
Yeah, so start saying that there is as well translations, right? So some, usually the big companies, they buy a certain translation of the book. If someone is really good in translating, we had one great translator in Italy, Fernanda Pivano. She used to translate all the Beat Generation authors. So all the translation, they were made by her. They had copyright, of course. That was her idea of interpretation and translation. In general, there is this kind of right. The thing is now with all this artificial intelligence tool, the one I use more is Deep. The translation job could be completely replaced by AI. That's something that could happen. And so again, if you work as translator and you add your human touch, you don't just translate it to translate, but to translate because you really get what the author is trying to say. That's something, of course, can make you survive. But otherwise, yeah, probably I think that also this job could be, replaced. And the question, may I use it? Read terms of service. Mostly yes, of course, but always read terms of service.
I do want to have a time to talk about the terms of service, but a couple of other quick questions related to copyright. Can you copyright dance choreography?
No, you can't. You can't. Of course, as well there, I'm a lawyer, so I should answer, it depends. But like theoretically you can't, but of course if it's in a bigger show, so that's something that it's part of an artistic show, so something bigger than just few moves, yes. But TikTok dance or these moves, no, they can't be copyrighted.
So it has to be in some sort of fixed form to be copyrightable, right?
Yes, yeah.
So do you have any suggestions of what type of fixed form, if someone is a choreographer, like what?
Yeah, basically what's my suggestion, but that's a bit tricky. I'll try to make videos and I'll try to describe all the single movements, also in a written way. So if someone is doing something similar to mine, and I think there could be copyright infringement in general, I will have something that could show judge or counterpart lawyer better, that I am fully aware of what I'm doing. So if you're doing something that it's similar to mine, I can see that on 90% of moves that you're doing are really similar to mine. So videos and write down, what's your idea of your dance, of the choreography you are doing. That could help.
Right, thank you for that. Another question, sort of general, is can you be penalized for something that was published before a new law was put into place?
Theoretically, no. In general, penalized, no. But if the law changes, you may be forced to remove something, or to don't use anymore something. Not penalized for something you did before the laws. No, that's something that usually doesn't apply. There are really few exceptions for this. In criminal law, for example, that's something that cannot happen. In civil law, it could happen, but I don't think it's going to be likely happening for this. That should be really exceptional things, but nothing related to the outcome of AI generation image. So everything will be based on the terms of service at the moment that you generated the work, the art, and law that were at the moment. So again, much more important reading the terms of service than be worried about the law, because right now that's everything is changing, and probably more than a state, the single company could they're a bit more dangerous. They usually sue if you use it things improperly.
Right. Thank you for that response. I do want to talk about terms of service, but I did want to point out in the Q&As, someone has posted about a festival in Poland. This is kind of interesting, who decided to give AI an artistic co-directorship of the festival. So that's kind of an interesting development in the AI realm. And I'm sure that there are some ethical discussions around that. Having a AI as an artistic director on the curatorial team. Do you have any quick thoughts before we move on to terms, maybe to speak to the ethics of that?
Yeah. Like I want to first of all to say thanks. I see that the question, it comes from Armando Rotondi. That's amongst many other things, that's a director, and I'm really happy for having him here online. I think he's one of the first in Europe, and when he used to teach in Barcelona Institute of Arts, calling me, to talk about these things. So I'm really happy, about this question, and I'm happy, he's doing in this Q&A time and not privately. I really respect that. And so I don't know, if the festival in Poland is going to decide to give AI another co-authorship or curatorship. That's something that honestly, I don't know what's my idea. I don't think it's really important though. We know that there have been photographers awarded for best picture, not AI picture, best picture, in a human photography contest award. And honestly, this doesn't bother me. I think that whoever does art has just one big aim, that's making art. Then it's important to be recognized, of course, for your copyright. But I think that if with the use of this AI tool, then the festival in Poland makes more revenues and gives more chances to artists, and do good things, and that's a really good thing. Yeah, could be a co-director, maybe not a co-director, 49% director, so at least there is going to be always one human responsible. But yes, why not? I don't have ethical feeling on this. I am much more concerned about misleading fake pictures and all these things than about it. But thank you Armando for the question.
Yeah, that's a really interesting development, and then also in terms of compensation as well, like you brought that up, like ownership and such.
It's gonna be cost saving 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but from my point of view, cost saving doesn't mean we're gonna invest less in festival. Doesn't mean, yeah, we're still gonna spend the same amount of money, but maybe promoting better or offering better services for the the participants, or paying more other people that are actually working. So then if you see as a resource, it's gonna be a resource. Otherwise, not. As always for humankind.
Absolutely. All right. I would like to talk a little bit about terms of service and what people can do with this license, because I think that's what artists and creators are concerned about. So let's assume, let's talk about the tools that do grant licenses and do say that you can use it commercially or whatever. So we're not talking about the tool like that you mentioned. What was that?
Yeah.
Ideogram
Ideogram, yeah.
that said no commercial use whatsoever.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the tools that do grant a license. Can you explain like a little bit what they can do with the work that is produced on those platforms? So they cannot claim copyright, so they don't own it, but professionally, commercially, what can they do with it? Like just some general questions I had. Can you display it as at an exhibition as your own work, like an art show?
You can absolutely. That's depending on you. That's I've been using two different words before. One has been created by Midjourney or with Midjourney. So that's something that we don't have a certain word now. I suggest always to say disclose it has been created also with a tool that's called Midjourney. But yeah, of course, you can use it. You can use it as well commercially wise. What I suggest, because they gives you, you know, basically they are public images. I wouldn't rely on something that could be used by everyone. That's the only concern I can have. But license-wise, of course, yes, you can. You can use it. You can use it for a commercial if that's granted in terms of service. But it's possible because on Discord you work on public chat that someone else is using the same image and you don't know. And if you are working, let's say, as social media manager for a company, and then the company discover after a couple of years that someone else is doing the same exact advertisement as yours, that's probably not the best thing ever. But that's just in terms of how you can be liable, or you want to give your human touch to what you are creating. But legally, wise, yes, you can use it. You can make commercials. I don't know if in Texas now there are companies using already AI images. In Naples, we have a lot of billboards, and I guess as well they are saving a lot of money in artists. But sometimes you can see that there is nothing behind that artificial intelligence image. So also the emotion they are giving me, it's kind of artificial. So that's why, yes, you can use straight away, the output of an artificial intelligence image. But if you follow your human touch, probably, if you are displacing or you are doing an award or any exhibition, it will be worth a bit more. That's my idea. And also, you could say, yeah, the copyright could be mine because that's 51% of human creation rather than just AI content.
Thank you, Alfredo. I do like your suggestion of being transparent, especially if you're claiming something as an artistic work of the tools that you used. I also like the practice of people posting the prompts. I know that's something that some people don't like to share as well, but I personally like to see the prompts that people use. So I do enjoy that. I do appreciate that suggestion of transparency if you're using this tool as an artistic creative tool. I do want to dig a little bit more into, like, say, you're a graphic designer and you're using these tools and you're providing something to a client. This is where it gets a little tricky, I feel like, because you said someone else could be using the same work. If you're using, like the Discord platform, there could be a chance that your clients, that whatever you created for the client, someone else gets something very similar. There's also, what if there's like a trademark or copyright, something in the transfer. So do you have any suggestions if you're a graphic designer, you're using these tools, and from what I see, most people are using them in place of like stock images. They're just using them as a starting point. And you don't have to pay for the stock image, you know, so they're using the mid journeys or whatever as a starting point. Do you have any suggestions for people using it that way commercially, where they're producing stuff for a client?
Yeah, I think that transparency is everything. And when you're transparent, you can also have a contract. And that's the one, like we are working a lot with contracts between social media agencies and clients, in which you are disclosing, say that during my workflow, I'll be using, AI tools, and I will be not responsible for this if anyone else is creating something that could resemble this. As always, unfortunately, in our job, a contract could be a good way just to stay safe, with your clients, to avoid any liability, to avoid any future requirements, of anything. Like, I think contracts, that's always the answer. That's what I'm suggesting to all my clients now. Just disclose it. I'm going to use it. Of course, I'm not going to provide you just the image that has been, provided by Midjourney, because otherwise clients will think, okay, I can do by myself. I will just prompting it. That's not how it works. But still, just put a little clause in which you feel I'm not liable for any complaint related to copyright infringement or any other issues. Of course, I don't want to get too technical, but yeah, in the contract you will find the answer in a good contract.
That is a really good suggestion. And actually, I might follow up with you on that. Maybe we could provide an example of a clause that they should ensure are in these contracts. Because I know a lot of artists do work as freelancers, digital creators.
Yeah, that's unfortunately, that's not just a clause. Otherwise, I was thinking as well to copy and paste, because the contract is a bit more complex paper. But yes, if I have to just tell you clause is something that will regard not liability for all the images, but that should be worked a bit, and that's depending as well where the contract will take place, or if you have private clients, if you're working for an agency, with an agency. So that's a bit depending, but yeah, as main think rule, that could be a good one.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I didn't even think about the contract. The reason I bring it up is because I did want to confirm. So the AI tools themselves, the terms of service and everything, they are not going to protect you as a user, right? Like, they are completely stepping out of it. Is this correct?
I can't say 100% yes, because that's not the case. But looking at what's going on, like recently, there is also the word behind the artist I was talking before, Chris Kashtanova, the author of Azaria of the Dawn. She has been hired by Adobe. That's basically the competitor of Midjourney. So I can tell that probably she didn't felt protected by Midjourney. She went straight from the competitor. But of course, yeah, they're just selling a service, and that will tell you something more. I think that's something that is not completely right. The idea of all the companies saying, okay, now we already script all the images and all the content text, deal with it. Now, that's so disruptive that you can't go back. So right now, what will happen? We will never go back to the previous situation. But of course, they can say, starting from now on, OpenAI will close and Midjourney will close. No, they are already a necessary tool for everyone. So we will assist probably much more looking at licenses. And my only concern is that the artist's work will be paid always less. So that's why I understand every concern about people using AI or AI in general. And as I say, just address all the concern to the companies, because they will have to answer and will have to pay you a fee if they used your job and your work to train the software. But from another side, if you use this tool to find a new way, of change your way of create art, that's something that of course will the tool will be probably more useful than what we did right now. Now we are just playing. It's been less than a year, so if we have this webinar the next year, probably plenty of hands where we're gonna change. But yeah, I think that's something that we will have to keep looking. We don't have a proper answer. I went off again, I guess.
We can still hear you, just can't see you, but
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So yeah, we will have to see. I'm honestly I'm not the happiest lawyer ever to don't give certain answer. I know that a good lawyer should give a really uncertain answer, but I prefer all the followers just to have something that they can rely on. But use AI, use it for commercial purpose, use safely, looking at the checklist, and of course keep reading the terms of service, because they change a lot of time on ChatGPT. Every time you use ChatGPT, you see at the bottom updated version 3 of August, 4th of September. Sometimes the outcome, it's something that you can use, sometimes you can't use because has been a little change in your country. In Italy for a while we were unable to use for privacy issue. In USA you were able to use it. So I know that's something that that's not 100% related to an artist's job or an artist's work, but that's the price to pay for using such revolutionary tools. And that's why we're here. And Miranda, I really I'm happy for the job you're doing. I was thinking a bit as well in your previous panel, and that's a great job. I think you are one of the first organizations all over the world, organizing something so specific on artificial intelligence. So I really want to thank you and the Art Reward, not just for having me, but for the job you are doing for your artists in Texas, in Austin, and all over the world. Such we have few people as well from Italy watching the webinar.
yes, well, thank you for acknowledging that. Yes, we are really hoping to empower the artist community with these talks and with these sessions. That's kind of the goal. We want, because AI is pulling so much from artists' work, they need to be a part of the conversation. They need to be in the know of what's going on. I think you're exactly right when you talk about the AI companies and what's going on. They're pulling from copyrighted works and making things very complicated for artists and creators who want to use the tools, and kind of leaving them hanging them out to dry and figure it out on their own. So hopefully, these things are changed. We're living in this moment. It's very exciting, moment of extremely fast change and affecting so many areas of our life, including, today we're talking about copyright and ownership and attribution, but all sorts of issues are coming up. I do think we're at the end of our time, so I want to respect our time, folks' times if they need to take off. There was another question about using these tools, but maybe we can address those a little bit later. But yes, thank you, Alfredo, for all this information. Again, attendees, you will receive a digital copy of this slide deck, so you'll have that to reference. The recording, if you want to go back and listen, will be posted on that resource library on YouTube. That's at Artist Resource Project. I can post that link again if you missed that earlier. And then the last thing I want to say is when you leave this webinar, there will be a little survey that pops up. If you want to let us know what you thought of today's talk, if you had any other lingering questions, if there's stuff you want to see in the future, I can assure you that your responses to that survey are read by humans and not AI, because we really want to know what it is that you want to see in the future in terms of resources and tools. So it's completely anonymous. If you just want to take a few seconds, give us some feedback, let us know what you want to see and what you thought of today's presentation. We would certainly appreciate that when you leave today. All right. Thank you so much, Alfredo. I know it's getting late over there in Italy. Any final words of inspiration for our attendees before we take off?
Not really words of inspiration, just keep doing what you're doing. I think that anyone that have been spending the last hour and a half here listening to this blah 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 lawyer talking about copyright, I think I don't want to talk anymore. I would love to. That's something that's just personal. I would love to see as well. The our participant, their art. So I really would like to suggest to connect with me, and as well I'll be happy to see after all this talking, what do you do if you are already using art, AI art, you're doing something else. And of course I'm here available for a few minor questions if you didn't have time, or over time you are thinking about it. But in the end, just knowledge, no fear. That's what art teach us. So I hope to see you again in future webinar. But at the moment, Miranda, thank you very much. I really appreciate your job, really. And so thank you for having me.
And thank you, Alfredo. And Alfredo's contact info will be in this slide deck. He has provided all of that if you want to reach out to him. And I encourage you to, if you see him online or whatever, just say thank you for providing this information, because this is a lot of really good stuff, really good knowledge that he's provided to the artist community. So I encourage you to get out there and thumbs up or 5-star something on his accounts there. All right. With that, I think we'll close the talk and let everyone enjoy the rest of their day or evening, depending on where you are. Thanks again, Alfredo, and we look forward to hearing from you again soon.
See you soon, Miranda. Thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.